Have you been dancing around naked with open blinds in the dark?
Wow.
Hello and welcome to the Thesayswhopod podcast with Kat and Tip.
Hi.
How's it going?
Amazing.
Good. And
Are
this
you
week,
alright? Oh, you never. Let me ask you if you're okay and you respond. Are you okay?
I'm very well, thank you. Not least because we are joined this week by our lovely guest. It's Mr. Phil Hawkins.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. How are you, sir?
Back again.
Hello. I'm good. Again, yes, I know. Making my return
Yeah.
to the podcast. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you very much.
Good.
Technically, I'm realizing this is technically, even though we've recorded twice, this is technically my third episode because we went for so long last time that you split it into two episodes.
It was 2 parts. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
3 episodes.
3 episodes.
You're racking them up.
We won't talk so long this time, hopefully.
He's like, we're speaking for hours. I don't want to do that again.
Because that was that the day that you were up at like 5 a.m. the next day or something?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm working from home tomorrow, so it's not as bad today. So I don't have to be up at a ridiculous hour in the morning.
Good.
I mean, regardless, we're not gonna keep you for that long again. But yeah, how have you been since you were last on?
Yeah, good. Yeah, usual ticking along in various degrees of having colds because I have young children who pass all their germs on to me constantly. So I've probably had about 5 or 6 colds since we last spoke, but I seem to be okay at the moment, so that's good.
Good.
That's a
Well,
plus.
glad to hear it. How's everything going on the old YouTube channel and things?
I must admit, I've had a bit of a slow month. I had a whole month where I didn't post a single video because life got in the way. I was in a play. I'm in a local amateur dramatics group, and I was in a play. And so the month that play was on, I just did not have the time to make any videos at all. So I've posted one video since then, and that was about a week ago. So I need to get on it and get back on it, really.
I mean, yeah, like work, like full-time job, and then you're in an Amdram production, and a husband and father. I mean, yeah. I don't think you can be blamed for maybe having the month off.
Yeah. Sometimes you just need that time to, relax and not have to worry about constantly getting videos out every week.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, I mean, we're back today. The reason we wanted to get you on in particular, I think you might have even subtly hinted that you wanted to be on an episode if we covered this, and
yes.
we already had it planned. We were like, oh yeah, maybe.
Maybe. Straight in the diary.
We're talking about the TV movie, which when this episode comes out, it will be the week of the 30th anniversary of the UK broadcast, not the US or Canadian, the UK broadcast. Because when Doctor Who's on telly in the UK, that's its proper air date in my book.
Absolutely. 30 years, God, that makes me feel old.
Well, I mean, I wanted to start because you're sort of the resident 8th Doctor super fan of
oh well, thank you.
the Doctor Who community. I feel what's your relationship to this episode movie?
I think that I was just the perfect age when it was on telly because I think everybody, most people will find that they latch onto the Doctor when they were around about 10, and that was you find people like, oh yeah, I was 8 to 10 when people say when David Tennant was on, people will say that, and so he's my Doctor. Or the same people slightly younger will say the same about Matt Smith. So it seems to be that's the age that kind of really you hook into it if you're going to. And I was 10 when the TV movie aired. So I think I was just the perfect age for it. I had liked Doctor Who before that, not to any like huge obsessive degree, but I had a couple of VHSs. I had a board game, and I think I had an Airfix Dalek, or little bits and pieces here and there. And I'd seen a few repeats on like TV, and I'd watch Dimensions in Time when it was on Children in Need, and things like that. But this was the first kind of like proper new Doctor Who that I had seen, and so I was quite excited about it, and I kind of latched onto it. And because there was nothing else for so long afterwards as well, that kind of felt like my era of Doctor Who for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because I guess, I mean, you would have been too young to have seen even like the tail end of the McCoy stuff, I imagine.
Yeah, I would have been like a very small baby / toddler when the McCoy stuff was on. So yeah, I don't have any recollection of that stuff.
So this is your this would have been the first bit of like new Doctor Who.
After Dimensions in Time. I remember watching Dimensions in Time in 1993, and then seeing some repeats on BBC Two of the Pertwee years, and then this was the first proper episode of Doctor Who. Because let's face it, Dimensions in Time is not a proper episode of Doctor Who.
How dare you? How dare you?
I completely agree. Yeah, I mean, well, Kat, what's your relationship to the TV movie?
Honestly, I think I only really discovered it. When was it? I can't even really remember when I first watched it. I think it was around maybe like 12th Doctor era for me.
Okay.
That I even found out what the TV movie was. It couldn't have been any earlier than that. Because it's when I started doing my classic Who watch, my first one, when I was at uni. And then so I went on a deep dive, and I think I started with that one because it was like the newest of the classic watch.
Right. Okay.
So I watched that. Yeah, I don't watch it that often. I think
during the 50th? Did you watch Night of the Doctor?
Yeah.
Did that confuse you? You're like, who's this guy?
It must have been earlier than 12 then, because I watched Night of the Doctor and I wasn't confused. So it must have been, maybe it was 11, start of 11. No, because it was before. I don't actually know.
You might have watched it because I saw Night of the Doctor before I'd seen this. I think I'd seen
so maybe I did then.
Bits and pieces of it, and I knew who Paul McGann was. I knew about the Eighth Doctor.
I knew Paul McGann was the Eighth Doctor, yeah. So maybe I just hadn't seen it.
But I hadn't watched the full thing. I'd just seen clips, like stuff that they'd include in like Confidential and different bits and pieces, and even I think I'd seen whole scenes. I'd definitely seen the Seventh Doctor being gunned down. I'd definitely seen the regeneration and him coming through.
I saw Jesus Doctor. And I saw the Master. I think I might have watched it, honestly, when I did my Master rewatch, because I went through and watched all the Master episodes.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay.
So I think it might have been then, because in discussion of it, I knew that it was really camp.
It's definitely camp.
Proper camp. So I think it might have been that. But so if I watched it earlier, it might have been then. But I know that I definitely did it before I started I committed to my classic Who watch for sure. But it could have been earlier than that, to be honest. I can't remember. What about you?
Yeah, like I say, I'm pretty sure I'd definitely seen bits of it, and I knew about it. I knew that I knew a lot of the behind the scenes stuff as well before I'd seen it. The whole thing of it being like an American co-production, and that it was Fox, and that it was a pilot that never got picked up really, and all of that sort of stuff. Before I'd actually sat down to watch it. But I can't remember exactly when.
How weird. We both are like, I can't remember when, but I know it happened in our lives.
Yeah, I think
at some point.
I think it's one of those where like it's one of those where I felt like I'd seen it even though I hadn't.
Right.
Do you ever get those films where because they're so popular and it's like everybody's seen them, and you know all of the references and the quotes and the scenes. Kat's shaking her head because she doesn't know any films. But it was one of those where I felt like I had seen it just because of how much I knew about it and the little bits and pieces. I probably had seen the whole thing just in like 10-second chunks in a random order over a span of about 10 years. But yeah, there's definitely a point where I sat down to actually watch it and go, okay, let's stick this on. Let's see what I feel about this. Which I guess leads us into, how do we all feel about this?
Well, I obviously really like it because, it has... I'm not going to say there's nothing to criticise about it, but overall, I really like it. And I do wonder, because I rewatched it, and even some stuff that previously I'd been iffy on, I kind of had a new appreciation for, like Eric Roberts Master, who I went through a phase of like, I think when I was 10, I didn't mind him because I was 10. And then when I got a bit older and like rewatched it when I was at uni, and I was like, oh, this guy's rubbish. He's so camp and cheesy. But now I've come back around and I kind of appreciate the cheesiness quite a lot.
Yeah.
And actually the campness really works. I really like it.
Kat?
I think it's unique, for sure.
It's definitely unique.
Yeah, I don't mind it. Like the TV movie for me is like, you gotta catch me on the day. Like if one day I'll be like, oh, I absolutely love this. This is exactly the goofy Doctor Who that I need. And then if you catch me on a bad day, I'm like, it's just a bit too American for me. So that's like where the balance tips for me. But I really enjoy it. I think the thing that I appreciate the most is how horrific it is.
In what context? What do you mean?
No, in the way of like some of the like body horror stuff.
Oh yeah.
Is like absolutely horrific, and I'm like, yeah, this is like great.
Yeah,
let's see more of this. There's some really
grisly.
horrific stuff. But I think it's camp. I think it's goofy. I love it. See, like today, I love it. If you ask me on another day, I might think it's too American. But
it is very American. But it's kind of a hybrid. I think it balances it quite well because through Paul you get the quirky Britishness.
Yeah.
And so through the Doctor you get that, and the kind of setting the American feel of the rest of it works because he's in America.
Yeah.
I don't know how that would have felt going, like, seeing that style go forward on alien planets or somewhere else in the world. That might have been a bit different. Yeah. But
I don't know. I think the thing that sometimes puts me off as well is like, I think how it begins. I'm not really like action, gun, violence person. That doesn't really scream to me. So the opening, although like I understand it within context, I probably wouldn't have done that for like a pitch, like a pilot episode. Kind of like gangs and the Doctor being shot isn't my idea of Doctor Who, but that's just personal preference and taste, I guess. Why are you laughing?
I just remember we had a conversation a couple of weeks ago where I was talking about a TV series or a film or something, and there's a scene of like part of the plot is somebody getting stabbed, and Kat's way of saying, no, I don't think this is for me. She was like, I'm not really a stabbing person.
I'm not. I'm not really a shooty
It's
or
like,
a stabby
good.
person. Yeah, that doesn't appeal to me. But the rest of it, I really like. I think I really like the campness of the Master, and I think Paul and Daphne Ashbrook do amazing. And I think that's what like really saves it for me. I like all of those elements to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have good chemistry, don't they, together?
Amazing chemistry, yeah. And there are some of like my favourite scenes in there of Doctor Who, like when they're walking through that park and it's all lit, all the trees are lit, and the Doctor's remembering Gallifrey, and just how his energy and like her response to it as well, and how the chemistry between them, like that is just like, I don't know, beautiful. Like it really is just so beautiful. So there are like scenes like that where I'm like, yeah, I love it. So even though the intro isn't necessarily like my cup of tea, the rest of it is good.
The biggest crime with the intro is before even the shooting, or even before we see in the TARDIS. It's the Dalek voices. Let's
talk about the Daleks.
That's the biggest crime of this whole movie, is the Dalek voices.
The helium Daleks.
Why do I feel like I've never heard the Dalek voices? Did I hear it when we did our watch?
Yeah.
It's right at the beginning when the Master is being executed.
Yeah.
And
The
it's
little, like,
the Daleks going.
prologue
You
bit.
don't see them on screen; you just hear them.
Oh, okay.
And
I feel like I missed that somehow. We did a commentary the other day.
you know the bit where the Master is kind of in shadow, so you can't see his face, and he's in those green energy bar prison things right at the beginning. Is that ringing any bells?
No.
No.
Come on, Kat.
Carry on. I'm not with it today.
The Daleks have got squeaky voices. They sound really awful.
Because
Yeah,
I saw
they're-
people post about it on Twitter, and I was like, the Daleks aren't in the TV movie. What are you going on about?
You can't focus on something that's like longer than an hour. So the first sort of half an hour just is out the window.
Yeah. No, because I saw people like, I really hope for the BFI, Nick Briggs comes and does proper Dalek voices, and I was like, there's
Yes.
no Daleks saying
Jack was saying that when I was on his podcast. He was saying that it would be really good if they've kept this a secret and they've actually got Nick to revoice the Daleks for this release.
Yeah.
That would be good.
Because it's only a few lines. Like it's only just
It's
right
just a
at the
couple of
top.
exterminates, really. That's all.
Yeah.
it is.
Okay. But I am, after this podcast, I'm just going to go watch it and be like, oh, or how did I miss that? Was I talking or something? How did I miss it? Did I
have no
say
idea.
something about... I don't know. Sorry,
I'm
carry
pretty
on.
sure I commented on it.
Oh. But is
Yeah, I
that the
think
thing
we-
that upsets you the most?
This whole movie, yeah. It's the Dalek voices. It's criminal.
First 30 seconds. It's like,
Yeah,
ugh.
but then it goes into the best theme tune I think the show has ever had. I love this theme tune.
We said
It's
that,
a
didn't we?
great theme
Yeah.
tune.
And it starts in the middle eight, which is really weird, but I kind of think it works. Because it doesn't start at the place the usual theme tune starts at. It starts at the middle eight.
Yeah.
But I really like that.
I think part of it with the middle eight sort of going into that major. I'm gonna try not to get too music nerdy here. With it being in that like major key, the sort of the switch. The middle eight is the bit that goes da 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 da.
I know, I was just listening.
Oh, okay. You usually look at me confused when I talk music, so.
I honestly, I'm literally just very happy listening to you then, playing with my hair clip. And you just decided to mansplain to me for no reason.
Sorry, it wasn't an intentional mansplain.
Hold on, would you like to explain to me what Doctor Who is, please?
So Doctor Who, yeah, I think there's something about that feels really sort of triumphant as a little excerpt of music anyway. But I think going into this sort of new era, as short-lived as it was, it kind of feels like, and it's back, and here we are, and
yeah, fresh.
Yeah, and I think it's the first time that is it the first time that it's like an orchestral arrangement of the theme?
I think so. Yeah,
which is interesting, and it gives it a bit of theatricality and a bit of, I don't know, a bit more life in it. Yeah, I think there's a lot of elements in this that you can see in the 2005 reboot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely has a different tone from classic.
Yeah, it does feel like a kind of halfway house between Survival and Rose, which I guess is, that might not be a particularly interesting point because it's literally the story that's in between them. But
yeah,
I don't know.
It's literally what it is.
Yeah, I think considering, I do think it's interesting that you can see some of the germs of the ideas that Russell then takes into his first era, sort of formulating here.
Yeah.
And to be fair, there's stuff that's going on in the McCoy era that is sort of carried through from like the concentration on the sort of focus on Ace as a character.
With an actual backstory and stuff going on with her. Yeah.
The novelty.
I do wonder what would have happened if this had gone to series. Would we have got Grace back? Because obviously he leaves her at the end.
I hope he comes back.
I assume we would have done. And what their relationship would have been like traveling as well. Would the kissing have continued?
I think it would be. I think it would be 10 rows before 10 rows happened. I think
but they've already got. But here they've already got to the kissing, so they're like, there's no will they, won't they? They're already there.
They have.
They are 8 Grace, and that's it.
It feels a little bit odd that for this, what was ostensibly a pilot for, hey, do you want to pick this up for a full series?
Yeah, but I feel like
he goes off and leaves her there. I don't know.
I think that's done for 2 reasons, though. One, if it didn't get picked up, it's an isolated episode. And B, if he goes off in the TARDIS, if they can't get the companion back, if they need to switch it up, if whatever, at least he can go travel off and meet someone new if he has to. He can have other adventures, or he can then come back. Kind of like 9 leaving Rose and then literally coming back straight away. Now Big Finish are writing all the stories that happened there. Like, I know they can't predict that's what would happen, but it gives a lot of space for different things to develop.
Yeah. Because they might have released this and gone, even if it was going to series, the people behind it might have gone, Grace was okay, but I don't think she'll work for a series, so let's bring in a new companion instead.
Yeah.
Shows do that. I mean, Sarah Jane did that, didn't it? They introduced a character in the pilot, and then she was gone by the first episode of the regular series. And I can't remember her name now, but the friend of Maria that makes when she first goes to school. Yeah, so they decided that character wasn't going to work in the series, so they went a different direction and introduced Clyde. They might have done something similar here if they felt that Grace. I think she does work, and so
me too.
They probably would have brought her back if it had gone to series, but it gives them options, doesn't it?
Exactly. It's just more possibilities then. It gives them a bit of something to play with if they need to.
Yeah, that's true. Thought. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about it like that. Where should we? I mean, we've kind of gone a little bit scattershot here, as per on this podcast.
Should we go back?
Yeah, let's go back to the beginning.
Let's rewind. Let's talk about the Daleks again.
Yeah.
The Americanized feel, vibe, tone, production, whatever you want to call it. I feel kind of similarly to you, Phil. I think that I don't mind it, and I think it works because they are in San Francisco. Like that is the setting for this story, and I quite like the, as you say, the sort of quirky Englishman in New York, but he's not in New York, it's in San Francisco, and it kind of adds to that sort of fish out of water vibe that they've got going on, I think. And Paul kind of carries it, I think, with his charm and charisma, which we'll talk about more extensively in a moment, I'm sure. But I can't see them like sustaining it for a full series, because there are points, and I think when we watched it, Kat, for that commentary track, I was saying there are points where it's like, oh, it's kind of a cool sort of what if Doctor Who was done in the States in the 90s, and it had a bit more of an X-Files feel to it, or that kind of sort of cable network TV vibe. But on the other foot, it feels, there are points where it's like, it doesn't feel quite like Doctor Who. There's a bit of a disconnect in parts for me personally.
Yeah, I mean, we've now got obviously the modern series as we know it to compare it to, but I think at the time it was like, for me in the late 90s, most of the TV I watched was American. Like I was watching X-Files, I was watching Buffy, I was watching, Star Trek and things like that. So it was like the Doctor Who that I did watch and liked, obviously, with the old classic series, did feel very dated, and this did feel at the time like, oh yes, this is the right direction for the show to go in, because it's new and exciting. This is high production value. This is what modern TV should look like, because that's what I was used to watching, mostly American shows. So at the time, I think I quite liked it. Now we've got the modern series as we had it to compare it to. I do think that is a better direction to go in for the show, that keeps more of its identity as a British show. But at the time, I didn't mind this, and it would have been interesting sort of to see where it would have gone in a parallel universe. But I'm glad. I mean, I don't think I've said this before, but I don't think it would have lasted as long as our actual revival did from 2005 onwards. It wouldn't have lasted 20 years.
No.
Very few American shows, apart from The Simpsons, last that long. So, we might have got like 4 or 5 years out of it, and then it would have been cancelled again, instead of 20 years before it potentially getting cancelled again.
No, we're not having that on here.
No, before the state is unknown of it in its current form. But we've whatever happens now, we've had a really good long run of it, which we wouldn't. I don't think we would have had this happen. So who knows? That might have been it then, and we might not have gotten anything again.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting to think about, isn't it? Because I think it does feel very, although now looking back in 2026, it does feel very 90s. There's, when compared to the classic era, it does feel quite fresh and modern and glossy and stylish, and the production values have been massively elevated.
I was going to say it's kind of the modern equivalent of what season 7 felt like with the Third Doctor, having that kind of transition from one thing to another. So the transition from classic in this case to higher production value and just a different kind of form is kind of that same kind of transition, I guess.
Yeah, it's an element of that. To be fair, I think it's interesting the comparison to the Third Doctor era, because I think the story kind of takes quite a few notes from Spearhead.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Even just like surface level stuff, like him knocking about a hospital immediately after his regeneration and
stealing
getting his costume. It's interesting how, because I was thinking about this, because the 11th Hour does similar things, and I was thinking about it, those three, and then latterly the woman who fell to earth, are the only ones where the Doctor has regenerated without a companion around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, they're the only ones where it's kind of like a clean break
Yeah.
into, and Spearhead's kind of the first
The same.
of that. So I
True.
think it's interesting that both the TV movie and the 11th Hour kind of, even if just subconsciously, take notes from that story as like okay, well, that's maybe how we do reintroduce a Doctor when there's nobody else around and he's completely new to everyone around him.
Well, they're also kind of your jumping on points. Whenever I recommend anything to anyone, I always say, great jumping on point, Spearhead from Space. Great jumping on point, 11th Hour. Great jumping on point, Woman Who Fell to Earth. So it's funny how they're all jumping on points. They're all very similar, and they all don't... That's fun. That's really fun.
Yeah. So how do we feel about Sylvester McCoy being in this?
As a fan, I love it. I can understand why it might have been a hindrance to maybe the American audience. I mean, even, not so much even to a new British audience. Even if you hadn't watched it, been a fan of Doctor Who before necessarily, it was enough around like the zeitgeist, that people would know who the Doctor is, and that probably that Sylvester McCoy was the Doctor, the current Doctor. Probably enough people would know that. But in America, it might have been a bit more of a hindrance, possibly.
I think continuity-wise, it makes sense. I also think in the in displaying what the Doctor is and the fact that he can regenerate, fine. The way he regenerates is what I take issue with. Well, not even take issue with. It's just I just don't like seeing the Doctor get shot.
I mean,
I think that's the only thing.
Your point about showing him that the Doctor can regenerate is actually quite important for the plot of this movie, because it's like regeneration, and the Master wants to steal his body and steal his regenerations. I suppose it's quite important, therefore, to explain what that is early on, so that the audience get what the Master's plot is. Yeah. And this is the best way to do it. So it kind of makes sense. I think sometimes they go a bit too heavy on explaining the lore, but I don't think having Sylvester McCoy there and seeing him regenerate is necessarily a bad thing. It's probably quite helpful, in fact.
Yeah, I think it's necessary, for sure.
I'm gonna argue.
Go on, take the floor. We will say you're wrong, but that's fine.
No, that's fine. I'm aware it's 2 against 1 here. I kind of agree with what you guys are saying. I think it is, like continuity-wise, and I think for people who are already fans, or even, as you say, Phil, like basically the British audience, even if you don't know that, like, even if you don't remember that Sylv was the Doctor or whatever, when it comes to it and he changes his face, I think Doctor Who and the concepts that it plays with are enough in the, as you say, in the zeitgeist for people to understand, like, oh yeah, Doctor Who regenerates and he changes into a different bloke. I think that's sort of well known enough, the same as that, oh, that blue box is bigger on the inside and he travels through time and space.
I think you're being presumptuous there.
But I think majority of people, if you went up to them on the street and said, what's a TARDIS? What's a Dalek?
Dalek, yes. But regeneration, I think that's a bit more...
Maybe they wouldn't know the word, but they would know that the Doctor changes his face.
Yeah.
Yeah. They know that there's been X amount of Doctors. The same as, like, they know there's been X amount of James Bonds or what. It's just something that's kind of
known,
accepted. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas I think partially what this story is trying to do is reintroduce and to an extent reboot the series, and to get a new audience, both of British fans who maybe were, you know, too young or just hadn't seen the series before, and now it's like, oh, this thing is back, like, let's watch this. But I think more importantly, the American audience that they were going for, that wouldn't have been familiar with the show and its concepts. And I think there's a lot of lore, and there's a lot of continuity stuff in here that maybe veers on the side of like it being impenetrable for new people coming to it, and like if you're coming to it completely fresh. I
don't know about that.
I think especially when compared to the next reboot that we get with Rose.
Yeah.
And I think starting with a new Doctor and learning about him through the series and through the eyes of this new character, I think that is a much more organic and like user-friendly way to do it, rather than through this where we follow the Doctor, this guy who new audiences won't know. Kat's got her hand up. I will pause in a minute.
I know. I'm waiting.
Where we're following the Doctor, who's this, you know, Scottish bloke in a lovely little hat and jacket, and then all of a sudden he's now this, you know, handsome Scouser that's got amnesia and is running about, and it's like sort of following the story. I don't think he should be the character that you follow throughout, personally. Go on, Kat.
Okay, you said two things there. The second thing interested me. All of it hold on.
All right.
All of it interested me, but the second point that I've got that you made, we're going to discuss it. Mm-hmm. Number one, you answered your own question in there. Series 1, you can't compare the TV movie to anything that was seen before because it was guaranteed more than one episode. This is just your pilot. So it's going to have a lot more of the things that are necessary in case it doesn't get picked up. With Series 1, they knew that they could sprinkle it throughout and you can learn at the same time with shows because you've got 13 episodes to do that. Here, you've got one. That's, how long is it? What's the duration? An hour? An hour and a bit?
It's about an hour and a half.
Hour and a half, yeah.
Hour and a half. So you've got quite a bit of catching new audiences up at the same time as delivering it all as one package. So that's one thing. You can't compare them in that manner, saying, oh, but they did it better with Rose because of this, but they also had the time and the episode count to do so. But the second thing that you said that was interesting is following the Doctor instead of the companion, which I want to discuss, and I want to open it up to the group because I find that interesting. because it's essentially a master-centered story, but we're following the Doctor. How what's the word? How
would it work logistically?
Yeah, like productively, how would that work following it through Grace when all of the key themes and concepts of the story is centered through a Time Lord, which is the Master? It'd be a bit harder to follow Grace through that. So if you follow the Doctor, you're able to catch up quicker.
But I think, okay, so the first point, I know what you're saying about that they can have the whole series to kind of flesh it out with like Series 1. But I think even if you just take Rose in a vacuum, and in 45 minutes you get the basics and you get basically everything you really, inverted commas, need to know. I think the only thing, as you guys pointed out earlier, that would maybe be a need to know for this that you don't really get in Rose is the concept of regeneration, because it ties directly into the plot. But I think if you're a complete newbie to this show, I think especially if you're an American and you sit down to watch this show, and then there's this bloke that turns into another bloke, and he's running around, and then there's this guy that he knows from his planet, because they're both aliens, who was executed by another race of aliens, and now he's going to try and steal his like I think it's just very like.
There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of lore in there.
And to its credit, I think it is. You can follow it. It's not complete. I know I said impenetrable earlier, which is maybe that's a bit
harsh.
A bit harsh. But I think there's a lot to need your new audience to get on board with quite quickly.
Maybe, but then I don't think that's that different to, like, imagine this was a brand new show and there'd been no Doctor Who before. Other shows have kind of started with this sort of amount of, like, stuff that kind of, like, there's backstory and there's lore, but they kind of hint at it and give you little droplets of it so that you can explore it later in the series, like... And a lot of shows in the 90s, a lot of American shows in the 90s were doing that. X-Files, which we mentioned before, did that. Like, the first episode, they had, like, the mysterious smoking man there. We didn't really know what he was, but he was there, and he was, like, all these little bits. And then the dropping of the lore of, like, Mulder's sister being abducted when he was younger and things like that were all there in episode 1, which we accept because it was a new show. This is sort of similar thing. It's just putting stuff in there that makes that you're kind of setting up for later, assuming you might get a series that you can explore. I don't think it's that different to what other shows were doing at the same time that didn't have history, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think the only thing I'd say that I feel is maybe a difference is that with, as you say, with things like the X-Files, where they sort of just drop these little hints in for it to be sort of paid off later down the line and explored in the later series or whatever. With this, it's like we'll drop things in because it's relevant to the plot of this specific story that we're doing over this hour and a half. So I think it's fine to have some. But have as much little dribs and drabs of things to, sort of pepper in there for later down the line. I just wonder if it's maybe a bit much.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the fence about it, really. I mean, I'm not strongly either way. I see the point from both angles in that I think it's it's not as bad as necessarily it's made out to be in terms of whether or not it's accessible to American audiences, but it is still there. Like, there is still probably just a bit too much lore. If they just toned it down a little bit, it might have been better. But I don't think Sylvester being there is the problem and having the regeneration is the problem. It's more some of the some of the lines and like over explaining Gallifrey and things like that at this point. Maybe the other things that maybe they go too far on, but I don't know. I'm still on the fence.
Do you think it's going too far or just world building?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It could just be, it does feel like world building. So that's why I'm on the fence. I've never really felt it's as strong a criticism as everybody thinks. And a lot of people blame it for the failure of it in America, but I think there were bigger factors for why it didn't succeed in America. I mean, one that gets touted quite a lot, and I think was very significant, was it aired at exactly the same time against a very significant episode of Roseanne, which was like the biggest sitcom at the time, and it had a scene. That was the episode where I think Roseanne's husband died. So it was like they had really strong competition. So it was always kind of at a disadvantage.
Yeah, I think there's definitely. I mean, I'm saying all of this, and part of it is I do think it, but part of it is devil's advocate as well, because I don't. For me personally, as a fan, that doesn't get in the way of me enjoying the story, because I'm fine with you talking about Gallifrey and the Master and regenerations and the Eye of Harmony and stuff, because I already know about that. That's fine. That's not sort of a barrier for entry for me, but I think it's maybe an interesting route to have taken it for like a pilot. I don't know if it's maybe a little bit too heavy on and stuff, but that's
again, the Eye of Harmony is relevant to the plot, so it's kind of needed in there. I mean, I've said this before as well, but I think the difference is like they name drop the Eye of Harmony, they use it in the plot, and they kind of roughly explain what it is. That I think is fine. If it had gone too far in terms of lore references, it would have been if somebody had said, if the Doctor had said, "Oh, this is the Eye," or the Master had said, "This is the Eye of Harmony. It used to be on Gallifrey, but now we've got it in the TARDIS." If they'd gone to that level of referencing old episodes, that would have been too far. But using the name Eye of Harmony and using it in the plot, I don't think is too far.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think, if he's going, oh yeah, I had this moved in from Gallifrey into the TARDIS.
Yeah.
Let's talk. Should we go straight in with Mr. McGann?
Yeah. Obviously. I love him.
He is incredible, isn't he?
He is such a good actor, phenomenal. B, the charisma, oh my god. When you look at someone and you think their performance presence is just insane. Like they could walk into a room and everyone would shut up because they just want to look at you and hear every single word you say. That's what Paul McGann has. His acting as a Doctor is absolutely phenomenal. And just the way he looked... everything about the Eighth Doctor is just perfection, from costuming to how he plays him. I think he gets the perfect balance between like alien but also kind of like normal kind of like person for us to connect with. I just think he's phenomenal, to be honest.
I agree. He's absolutely the perfect person to play this role, the perfect person to be to go over and be the quintessential British person amongst the rest of the American cast as well. My favourite moment is the new shoes moment, I think, of his. That's so good.
Yeah.
When I think of Paul in this story, that is the first thing that comes to mind, especially because it comes after that lovely, like, grandiose speech about the meteor shower and he was in the fields with his father in Gallifrey, and then the shoes.
Yeah.
Like it's beautifully done. And I wonder, is part of the the Englishman in the States is part of that because he's got that Liverpudlian twang, a little bit like a certain 60s rock band that were very big in the States.
Oh,
is
that,
is
maybe.
that part of the appeal, do we think, maybe?
It's quite a subtle Liverpudlian, though, isn't it? It's not like a really strong Liverpudlian accent.
It's not really like one of the Beatles.
You sounded Irish.
Yeah. You did a little bit there.
All the Irish Beatles.
The Irish Beatles. So I don't think I knew he was Liverpudlian for many years. Don't think I realised.
To be fair, it was a while before I kind of realised. I think you can hear it a little bit more now. He's aged. Well, I was going to say he hasn't aged. He obviously has aged, but he's aged beautifully.
Wine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think because his voice has matured a little bit, I think the first time I properly noticed it was meeting him at a convention a few years back, and Kat spoke to him, and when he got up, he just had this like lovely sort of booming, uh, Scouse accent that was kind of coming through a little bit, and it was like, whoa,
That was good.
okay, thank you. Have I made up for the Irish Beatles?
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, oh, you really are from Liverpool, yeah. And it's kind of
You weren't
reined back a
lying.
little bit. Yeah, it's telling the truth. It's kind of reined back a little bit.
Yeah.
I think for the Doctor.
I also wonder if in this he was told to maybe put on a bit more of an RP accent to really British it up.
Yeah, and the fact that Americans think that there's only sort of two British accents, which are RP
there
and
is
Cockney.
posh, RP and Cockney, posh and not posh.
Yeah.
But Posh and Oliver Twist. Those are the
Yeah,
two options.
yes.
Yeah.
Please, sir. I have some more.
But yeah, he's. I mean, what a voice as well. There's just something about
Yeah, you
that.
hang off it.
Yeah, and I think it's as much as I would have loved to have seen more of the Eighth Doctor on screen.
Thank God we've got Big Finish.
There's something really fitting that he's the Doctor that kind of lives on audio.
Yeah.
He has the like audio narration voice that you could just put on any. He could read any book, and you're just there like, oh, okay. And
It's just like caramel, isn't it? It's just
yeah.
But there's something so sort of quintessentially doctory about it, and I couldn't even tell you what about it is. There's just something about that performance that's like, yeah, that's the Doctor.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
I don't know what it is. It's just that magic of that all the Doctors have, where it's just like, yes.
Obviously, Phil, you watched this. I was going to say live. You watched this live. What
When
was
it
your
broadcast,
thoughts
yes.
as a kid? Like,
Yeah,
did you go, oh my God, he's Doctor Who?
I can't remember exactly what I thought. I remember being excited that there was this new Doctor Who and it looked all modern and exciting, and I really liked it a lot. I didn't when did it was a few years before Big Finish started, and I didn't get into Big Finish until even a few years after that. But I did start reading the novels. Probably even that was probably about 8 years after the TV movie came out that I started reading the novels, and then from there I went from the novels to Big Finish, and that's when I think my getting into the expanded media through the Eighth Doctor mainly was when my like fandom for Doctor Who grew. It was through the expanded media, really. Up until then, it was a show I watched and enjoyed, but I wasn't like there wasn't into it, must get merchandise, must get that kind of thing. I was just kind of like, I didn't even buy the DVDs when they first started coming out. It was only once I started reading the books that I was like, actually, I'm going to go back and get all the DVDs as well. So, and that coincided with the new series revival as well in 2005. So it was all kind of like, that's when I kind of really got into it. Yeah. But it was kind of through the Eighth Doctor. But yeah, I can't remember what I thought when I was 10, really, other than being excited.
Yeah.
Could I say, Phil, my first sort of introduction to you was your video of your Doctor Who book collection.
Oh God, yes.
Which is insane. Like, I remember watching that and going, wow, this guy really does he likes his books.
But I haven't read most of them because I don't have the time to read. There's so many. I started reading the Eighth Doctor Adventures 20 years ago, over 20 years ago, in 2004. That's when I read the Eight Doctors. That range, I can't remember how many books are in it, but I'm only halfway through that range. I finished reading one a couple of months ago, and that was the latest one I'm up to. And I looked, and it's about halfway through the range. It's taken me 20 years to read half a range of the Eighth Doctor books. I still haven't read them all.
I mean, you're a busy man. You're a busy man.
That's life.
Yeah, that is life. I have had phases in my life where I've read them more quickly before I had kids and had other hobbies that I needed to do when I was had jobs where I could just sit and read all day. So that I got through more than I did, and when I was at uni, and I just read loads then. But yeah, it's slowed down in recent years. So I have a lot more books than I've read. But yeah, and most of them are at the loft because I don't have the shelf space.
I mean,
That's so sad.
You'd have to live in a mansion to have the.
It is my dream one day. It'll have to be when the kids have moved out, so I can reclaim a bedroom, and just be like shelves around every single wall, and it's just going to be my Doctor Who timeline. I'm going to put everything in chronological order of the Doctor. I'm going to put all the books interlaced with the DVDs, interlaced with the audios, everything. So that'll annoy some people that are OCD about like heights of things, because it will be all sort of higgity piggity. But for me, it would be like it will be like a timeline of the Doctor's life in order.
That's the best idea I've ever heard in my life.
Cat's eyes, the way they lit up as Phil was talking just then. I mean, if you need an assistant for that project, Phil.
Yeah.
Come
around and help me sort my shelves.
Oh my god, that would be
in 10, 15 years' time.
Yeah. When the kids have moved out, yeah.
Just wait, you'll do like some announcement on like somewhere, and I'll be in your DMs like, so remember like 15 years ago when we did that TV movie podcast?
Just turning up at your door like in overalls and stuff.
I'm
ready to put the shelves up.
On a smaller scale, I do this with the Big Finish. So Eighth Doctor, I just have mostly the Eighth Doctor and the War Doctor stuff out on shelves because, again, space. But I've arranged them not in like when they were released or in like range orders or anything like that. They are all in chronological order to when they happen to the Eighth Doctor. So that means like I've slotted random box sets like the Peladon box set in between bits where I think they fit between the, I don't know, whatever series, the Lucy Miller or whatever ones, like wherever I think they fit is where I then put them on the shelves, rather than going, okay, well, I'm going to put all this range together, I'm going to put all this range together. I'll break them up and put them where they go on his timeline. I'm
wondering how I could do that.
I really rearranging the shelf again.
Because that would be really cool, wouldn't it?
It's not going to be a space efficient way of doing it, because obviously you've got things like the Panini graphic novels, which are really tall, and then you've got Big Finish. So like tiny, in terms of space, it's going to be a complete wasteful for space. But
no, because there's so many things that you can do for it, because you can just stack it. So if you make some like MDF shelving for your Big Finish ones, then you can slot that in and have them forward facing, but true. Stacked. So it could be like, if you think of like a magazine thing.
Yeah.
You know, like a thing where you
and
then you can have them, and then that's when you can put like figures in front of it and things like that.
There you go. See, need to get you in on this project.
The project planning has begun. Right.
Sorry.
No.
Tangent there.
Yeah.
I mean, so we've established that Paul McGann is the Doctor and he's incredible, and
he's just wonderful to meet as well, like at conventions. He's always smiling. He always wants to take pictures. He always wants to have a conversation with you. He'll sign, like, he is just like a wonderful, like, not spokesperson, but like face for Doctor Who. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think we're quite lucky how like 99% of the people, maybe the figure's a little bit less, but people in Doctor Who are just really lovely. Apart from the handful that we don't talk about. We do have like...
Name them.
TARDIS sounds.
And also, if anyone hasn't, by the time this comes out, which really you've got no excuse because it would have been like 2 weeks, if you've not listened to the episode of An Awful Lot of Running that Phil was on, talking about the TV movie.
I'm trying my best not to repeat myself too much.
No, it's fine.
No, I'm very aware that I literally listened to the episode last night, and I'm like, I don't want. I'm going to be like, oh yeah, this is a really good thought that I've had, and it's just going to be,
What you
repeating
said.
you, Jack, and Star from that episode. Yeah, if you've not already listened to that, go and check it out, because pesky Jack Alexander got to Phil and got his episode out before us.
He got it out before, but you had invited me on before, so I did feel like I had to check with you first that you were okay with.
I
me
know,
going
bless
on
you. It was very sweet
on Jack's podcast, because you had invited me first.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we had a message from Jack going, "Oh, you two! I'm asking my friend Phil Hawkins to come on the podcast. You've already got him there."
Yeah. We're like, whoopsies.
Yeah, but if people haven't listened to that, go and check it out. Not least for Phil's story about getting into a Doctor Who convention.
Well, not a convention. Not a convention. A launch party,
like a press launch thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell any more of the story here, because then that's a nice trailer to
Yeah.
And I'm just repeating myself, but yeah, it was a launch for something that I snuck into and met Paul McGann.
I was really chuckling to myself listening to that.
Love it.
So yeah, go and listen to that, guys.
Can we talk the Master?
I was going to say, let's talk the other side of things. Mr. Eric Roberts as the Master.
How does everyone feel about Geep Snake Master?
It's certainly a choice.
It's a choice. It's a choice.
I love Geep Snake Master. I love it.
It's a rather conspicuous.
When his eyes are turning and he's like foaming at the mouth, or he's got all that like gunk at the mouth, like it's
like when he like spits the
he
acid at Grace.
Yeah.
Oh, it's horrible.
It's awful. but like in a like, yeah, this is a horrific way.
One thing
Excitedly.
I hadn't thought of before, but it's just occurring to me now, is that they never really explain why he's a goose snake. So,
No idea.
like, do that? So, to a casual audience that don't know Doctor Who, does it get the impression that this is what Time Lords turn into when they finally die? Is that?
Yeah.
It kind of gives that impression. I mean, the expanded media has gone into like why he's done that, but it's not in this. It's not in this.
Yeah, or even that the Master's usual form is a sort of translucent goop cobra.
Yeah.
And he just goes around possessing American.
Yeah. So do they think?
paramedics
Do they think like is an American audience watching this gonna? I don't know if you watch Stargate. Have you ever watched Stargate?
I've not.
No.
There's this alien race that are like parasites called the Gould, and they take over people's body. They're parasites, so they kind of control people's bodies by living inside them. I wonder if people watching this are thinking that's what Time Lords are. That they are these gooey snake-like creatures that actually possess bodies, because it's never really explained that that's not what they are.
Yeah, it's really weird because kind of like as a Doctor Who fan, I kind of just accepted it and have never ever questioned it until this moment where you're like, I wonder what people actually think. I was just like, yeah, obviously that happened.
Yeah, because I mean, we know that's not what Time Lords are, but
yeah, that's a good point.
I've kind of
never
always just
questioned
sort of brushed it off as like one of the strange
Things that
in
happened,
in this story. Yeah,
because I mean, he says he's half human, doesn't he? So like that's another thing I just brush off, and I'm like, yeah, well, that's not my canon, I guess.
yeah.
So
And
maybe Geep Snake is a part of that too.
I was to briefly touch on the half human thing. I was always sort of in the camp of either A, it's a joke that he makes to that professor.
it can't be that. It can't be that.
But then
because the Eye of Harmony apparently needs it.
Yeah, it actually plays into the plot. Or where I now sit is like, oh, I don't care.
Yeah.
Whatever. Whatever, it's fine.
Sure.
I now sit in the making complex fan theories in my head to try and explain how that could possibly be true, but also not true at the same time. So, I mean, to be
Where have
honest,
you landed?
Oh god, I don't have time to go into where I have my own headcanon of like it involves the timeless child, it involves looms, it involves all sorts of stuff. Theory.
And if you'd like to see this theory, you can find it on Phil's YouTube channel.
You can't yet, but maybe I should make that video. My
Maybe
theory.
You should.
Maybe that should come back. I think if you do that, you can have one video a month because that is going to take you an age.
Yeah, yeah. I never minded the like. I know everybody hated the half human thing. I thought it was an interesting idea. I thought it was fine, and I'm very much like the reason why I then came up with this idea in my head, which is too complicated to go into now, is because I'm generally of the opinion that like, hey, if it's been on TV, it's canon. It's happened. We just have to accept it. People that don't like the Timeless Child, like I'll say the same to them. Like it's there. Just accept it. You can kind of come up with a theory in your head that makes it fit better for you if you want, but it like just to completely dismiss. I will never completely dismiss anything that's been on the TV show. I'll be like, even if I don't like it, like some of the more recent stuff that's been on, and I've been like, I really don't like that idea. Like, for instance, if I know this was the plan, but it never actually ended up on TV, but if in the upcoming Christmas special, if they make Susan Poppy's daughter, was that it? Was that what was going to happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate that idea. I hate it with a passion. But
Poppy's
if they
daughter.
do it, yeah.
Yeah.
So Poppy, as in the baby,
Yeah.
him and Belinda's baby, in that, the idea apparently was that Susan was going to be her daughter in a timey-wimey way, and that's why she's
that makes
his
sense.
granddaughter. But I don't
Makes
like
sense.
the idea that the Doctor didn't already have the granddaughter.
Yeah.
And I've never liked that. But if it was on there, it's on there, and you kind of either come up with a way that is both true, but not what they were going for, or you ignore it. But I'm like, I would hate it, but I would incorporate it into whatever comes next.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my little rant.
I think that's absolutely right, because
Yeah.
there's always going to be like, it's a 60-year-old show. There's always going to be things in there that you don't particularly like or gel with, or you've got another explanation that you prefer yourself, or things don't completely tie together continuity. But like, why can John Pertwee just make things appear from thin air?
I love it. Oh my god,
Like,
I love that so
that's-
much.
Can he?
Yeah.
When does he do that?
He does it in. There's an episode with Liz Shaw. What one is it?
I was going to say,
It's in season 7. Is it?
it's not Inferno, is it?
It could be Inferno.
It's one of the season 7 episodes, and he's in the
and
unit lab,
He's doing like
and
a
he
magician stuff because he does it to trick someone in the room. I can't remember what it is. I think it is Inferno.
yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It's like, it's never explained, and then it never happens again.
And never happens again. but he can do that. But it does
Yeah.
follow through in a bit of season 8 as well.
But that's what I mean. Like, some people could be like, I don't like that. He's not magic. Like, why could he just make things appear? Which is fair enough. And that's the same thing for people who are like, no, I don't want him to be half human. He's a Time Lord. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like,
But the thing is, with
doesn't
something
matter.
like that, it's like you can have a headcanon that like, oh yeah, it happened, it was on screen, we saw it happen, but actually he had a teleporter, he had in his other hand, he
Yeah.
had a quick little button he pressed that teleported it in.
Exactly.
You just come up with all sorts of things to work out stuff you don't really like and make it slightly
Yeah.
more palatable. So the Doctor is half human in some way, but what way that is up for discussion.
yes, debate, discuss.
Yeah.
I do think it's interesting that, so to open the Eye of Harmony, they need a human eye, which is why
Yeah,
the Master can't open it himself.
Yeah, which never made any sense. Why would the Time Lords build their TARDISes to be opened by humans?
Yeah, and something that they can't open themselves. I always thought there's a much easier explanation there, in that he needs a Time Lord eye, but because he's possessed
He's a goop
Bruce
snake.
and he's a goop snake and he's got these sort of snake eyes going on, it's not
Yeah.
recognizing him, so he needs the Doctor to open it.
Yeah.
That feels like a much more streamlined version of that, and still kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That would have been much better. Yeah.
Goop Snake aside, how do we feel about Eric Roberts as the Master?
So camp. I love him.
Talk us through your journey, Phil.
Because as I said at the beginning, it is. I can't remember what I thought about him when I was 10. I don't recall disliking him. I think I was fine with it. I don't think I had much opinions either way. But then when I came to it later on, when I was in uni, I thought, oh, he's rubbish. I don't like him. He's like, I thought he can't act. He's just hamming it up. But now I've come back around to it, and actually, hamming it up doesn't necessarily mean bad acting. It's just that is a style, and he does that style very well here. And I appreciate it a lot more than I used to. I think I used to thought, and it was probably backed up by seeing clips of Eric Roberts in other stuff, because he's done a lot of like really cheesy B movies. He's got a huge, like, you look on his IMDb, he's done so many movies. Because he just does like little parts every so often, and he'll just do stuff if he just feels like it. He's not precious about it, so he'll do these, and a lot of them are those kind of like Hallmark Channel type really cheesy things, which if you don't like, then you can think, oh, nobody in this can act, but actually it's more the script. And I think actually having like I've seen him he was in Batman, of course, and actually he works really well in Batman Begins. So it's not that he can't act, and I apologise to him for ever having thought that he's a bad actor. He's just playing a really camp character, and he's doing it really well. And actually, I do think it works now. I didn't used to think that, but I've come around to the campness.
Yeah, and I think there's some interesting, because it doesn't start off as camp as it ends up. He sort of gets more camp
Gradually.
as he goes along.
Yeah.
Because it
But
starts quite
does.
Yeah, but I think the Master starts quite ominous. I mean, you're sort of your first real sort of introduction to this version of the Master is him strangling his wife. Which is, it's quite dark. But yeah, I think he's slightly more deadpan at the start, and a bit more sort of stoic and quite removed and alien. And then it's almost like as the story goes on, he kind of goes, oh yeah, I'm going to enjoy it a bit more. And I don't know if that's Eric Roberts doing that, if that's the Master, or both, or maybe they realised, hey, maybe we should let you have more fun with this. And yeah, I don't know, but I think it works.
He has a line in there, doesn't there, where he was at the start, he was getting used to the body and the speech and stuff. So when he's that more stoic and very stilted speech pattern that he has near the beginning, the plot says that that's because he was getting used to the body, which kind of makes sense, I suppose. And then I suppose once he's gotten used to it, he can let himself show off a bit more. And of course he has that classic line, I'm always dressed for the occasion, which everyone quotes. It is a great line, and it's good to actually, I know we're talking about again lore and stuff, but like people wouldn't know that's Gallifreyan robes because it doesn't say that, but we know as fans that that's Gallifreyan attire, so that's quite nice little reference for the fans as well.
I think generally, he does kind of get written off as being like the camp sort of pantomime master, but then Anthony Ainley is a pantomime villain. I don't even mean that as an insult. Like, I think that's exactly what they're going for with the character at that point. Yeah, I think it's an interesting direction to take him. How do we feel about the Master being an American?
I think it works in this plot because he's taking over a body and
he's American.
Yeah, I mean, I think it kind of works. I think it'd be weird if he just showed up as a Time Lord and had an American accent.
Yeah,
because we expect Time Lords to sound British, but but yeah, here it works. I think it's fine, and I've also really liked what I've heard of him. I haven't heard all of it, but I've heard bits and pieces of him on Big Finish, and as Big Finish do often, they kind of, I think that probably helped redeem him in my head as well, because Big Finish are very good at that, taking a character that has been a bit maybe underappreciated on screen and then developing them to the point where fans go, actually, I really like them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've not actually heard any of his stuff on Big Finish, but I've heard good things. There's loads of stuff that we could go into here. I mean, the whole plot of the beryllium clock and the world's going to turn itself inside out, and
yeah, the beryllium clock thing, I never really got why it was necessary. Like, what is it about that something as advanced as the TARDIS would need to work again? I don't think, as one of the few flaws in it, I would say they didn't do a good enough job of explaining why that was necessary. It was very much just like, hey, here's a MacGuffin, we need it for the plot.
Yeah, I've never quite understood it myself. Yeah, I don't really know what they're getting at there. But I quite like it ties into the whole New Year's Eve setting. I think it's quite a nice sort of framing for, I guess it is a little bit Hollywood that you've got a countdown that's going on like external to time's running out in the plot. It's very much oh no, I have to kill this vampire, but it's the same night as the homecoming dance. Oh no.
Yeah.
But I think it works to it all ties in nicely. Something I really liked that I noticed sort of properly for the first time when we watched it most recently for that commentary track was just how inventively shot it is. Like, I think there's a lot of, I mean, I know you mentioned it up top, Kat, with the Jesus Doctor, but I think there's a lot of sort of visual allegories in here and a lot of visual symbolism to the sort of messianic imagery is it's not subtle at all, but I think it's a really interesting framing for regeneration.
Rebirth and
because Paul's got the sort of long hair and he is thought dead, and then
which is a wig, by the way.
It is a wig. Yeah.
Yep.
My wig dial was way off. Genuinely thought it was his hair.
But that he knocks the morgue door down, like the stone being moved. And he appears sort of shrouded in a cloth with his long flowing hair, and then he's walking through that weirdly still active disused part of the hospital. I
was reading an interview with the Dirt. So in the late Doctor Who magazine, have just done a special about the Eighth Doctor, and in it there's an interview with the director of the TV movie, and he said that all of the Jesus allegory is completely accidental. Apparently,
really?
It wasn't planned as that. No.
Oh wow.
So that's like your main talking point always, isn't it?
Yeah, I really like it, but I mean, I think it still is. Death of the author and all of that. It's
I mean, absolutely. We can read it into it, definitely. But it doesn't appear to have been the intention. At least that's not what the director is saying. Or maybe his own memory. And plus, you don't know if like it may not have been his conscious intention, but maybe there was something in his subconscious. Yeah,
because there's a lot of, I mean, the who am I moment where he sort of drops to his knees with his arms out, and then I don't know what you call it. I always think of it as the Clockwork Orange thing that's sort of keeping his eyes open. But that's sort of like a...
Oh, that's hideous. Again, there's some really horrific moments.
But I always think of that as being like a sort of like a crown of thorns a little bit. Like, you know.
Yes, yeah.
But yeah, I think there's some really nice... It's really nicely directed. I think there's some really sort of dynamic shots in here. And
it feels energetic like the whole movie does. Like everything is at the same pace. Nothing kind of slacks, which is something that I do appreciate about it.
Yeah, I think it definitely has a good... Yeah, it's got a good sort of sense of adrenaline and drive to it, I think.
Yeah.
Which is,
some
good.
Brilliant. I mean, some of the shots also just visually look really beautiful. Like, it's for a TV production, it's shot really well, and like the lighting they use, that scene where he's in the shroud as well. There's a brilliant bit where he's walking down a corridor, and the camera's tilting and the light streaming through the windows,
and it's like tilts up to the clock and then back down. Some really, really nice direction in there that I'd never really appreciated before. It's a really sort of stylish production, I think. And I think that maybe goes overlooked for some of the camper, maybe more goofy elements that are in there. I think, it's got, and I think there's
But I think you need that balance as well. Though.
Yeah,
because like you've got something that's so beautiful, balanced with moments that are genuinely horrific and make you want to look away, and then you've got all the campy, wonderful alien-ness of Doctor Who. I think it kind of has everything.
Yeah.
It's kind of got... It's a movie where you're like, okay, if you want every kind of aspect of what Doctor Who brings from episode to episode, we're just going to give you a little bit of all of it.
Yeah, it's a nice little cocktail, I think. I think there's a lot to love about this.
Yeah, a fishbowl.
A fishbowl. I think, I don't want to be misconstrued. I realise that I came in with some gripes and grumbles about this, but I do genuinely like it. Like, I think it's flawed, but I think there's also a lot to love about it.
I found the quote from the director, I think, or the bit in the article talking about where he said it wasn't. So he said, "I remember people saying that meant we were drawing a parallel with Jesus. It never occurred to me until I saw those comments. That was never our intention." And he said, about the crown of thorns thing you mentioned, he said, that was just the way the prop was designed. It turned out that way because it had to be screwed into his head. There was no quasi-religious metaphors or anything like that going on there. I mean, it was just supposed to be a crown of thorns. No, sorry. I mean, if that was supposed to be a crown of thorns, then what were the things keeping the Doctor's eyes open supposed to represent? So, yeah, he's very much of the opinion that it wasn't intentional.
Interesting.
Which is interesting because, like you say, there's so many things there you could go, oh, that represents that bit of it.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting because you see regeneration through different lenses. Like in Planet of the Spiders, they kind of reframe it as reincarnation and through that very like Buddhist lens, because Barry Letts was sort of introducing his own faith sort of and reading of that concept, which I think is a really interesting direction to take it. I always just assumed this was had some sort of Christian imagery, but and maybe it does. I don't care what you say, Jeffrey Sachs. Right, I'm just going to very quickly close my blinds because I'm aware that it is like pitch black.
I wonder why he has to close his blinds if it's already pitch black.
Maybe because people could see in.
Oh, can you see him when it's dark?
You can see in more when it's dark from outside. If you've got your windows open and you've got your lights on inside, somebody outside would be able to see in better than they would during daylight.
I did not know that.
You will be able to see out worse, but they will be able to see in better.
Oh.
Have you been
Oh.
dancing around naked with open blinds in the dark?
Wow. That's new information.
Have you just learnt things about how blinds work?
I've just learned about the darkness.
That
Apparently.
if it's dark outside and you've got your lights on inside and your curtains or blinds are open, people can see in better than they can during the daytime.
Yeah.
Into your house, which apparently Kat didn't know.
Right.
So I'm now wondering what she's been doing.
I was going to say,
with the blinds open at night time.
I dread to think.
Mm-hmm.
Nah.
Yep.
Nothing to worry about. Probably you just walking around in your dressing gown, singing to Doctor in Distress and reorganising your collection shelf or something.
Yeah, lose the dressing gown and you got it.
How? Okay.
Oh dear.
I wonder if this will make the edit.
Why not?
I've
People
realised.
be flocking. Sorry, go on.
I've realised there's somebody we haven't talked about who is Chung Li. We haven't talked about Chung Li at all.
We haven't.
Oh my god, yeah, we haven't.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about him as a character?
I don't mind the character. I don't mind the master having a companion.
Yeah, I quite like
I don't mind any of that. What I do mind is it's obvious he's the bad guy
Yeah.
Yeah.
all the way through. And then when he realizes, oh, you're the bad guy, he's like, huh, I didn't know that. And it's a bit like, but you can tell.
The guy that's dressed in all black and has been threatening to kill me every 5 minutes. He's not my
Yeah.
friend. What?
Yeah. What?
I mean, he is the walking definition of a red flag, is the master in this film.
Yeah.
And yet, I think the idea is that he's so blinded by his own kind of
Greed.
want for the greed and the money and the gold dust and stuff that he kind of just has blinkers on a bit because of that.
Yeah.
I mean,
But yeah, it is a bit obvious.
yeah, it's a shame because it kind of makes him appear a little bit dim.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because I quite like the character. Like I think Yuji So does a really good job, and he's a really sort of fun presence on screen, and I quite like the idea of the master having a companion.
Me too.
I think that's quite a nice.
I feel like he's lonely, and she,
You,
don't want to not include Missy. I do feel like the master's quite lonely, and that's why he's always like, "Come on, Doctor, I'll kill you if you want."
can you
If
come
he had
out
a
to play?
companion- Yeah, my mummy says I'm not allowed to talk to you, but I would like to It's blood brothers, mate. It's blood brothers.
But yeah, I do like Chang Li.
Yeah, it kind of works.
Yeah, I'd have been interested to see how that would. I know we were talking about if Grace had come back, if they picked it up for a series. I wonder how it would have worked if maybe Chang Li became a companion.
Yeah,
and how
little
that would
TARDIS
have
scene of 3.
Yeah, and how that would have worked.
Yeah, it could have been interesting actually, because it could have been, he's a former game. It's sort of like someone that the Doctor needs to help guide to be a better person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There could be some interesting stuff there in a series.
Yeah, give him a bit of a
100%.
redemption arc.
Yeah.
Well,
I like that.
I do have here, as always when we do a review on the Say Sweet podcast, a little bit of trivia.
Oh.
As you both know, the trivia section is called the same thing every week.
Yeah. As it's called every week.
As it's called every week. San Francisco 1999.
Oh.
So, Kat's rolling her eyes.
That's a great trivia section name that we call it every week.
That we call it every week,
Always.
yeah. I'm partly wondering if there's anything in here that Phil doesn't already know.
So is it more behind the scenes stuff or is it more story stuff? Because I'm more about the story. I don't often know much about stuff that went on behind the scenes.
Okay, I think it's like a 50-50.
Okay.
So we'll see how we go. But first little bit is about the casting of the Eighth Doctor. So
Go on.
the first choice was Tim Curry.
Oh.
That wouldn't have worked for me because, and I'll tell you why.
Rocky Horror.
No, I love Rocky Horror. My first introduction to him was Muppets Treasure Island, and he scared me. Then I did watch the Rocky Horror Show, but didn't know it was him, so that doesn't count. And then, so my second introduction where I knew it was him was Criminal Minds, where he was not a very nice person, and I had nightmares that he stabbed my brother.
Oh. And as we know, you're not a stabbing person, so...
And I'm not a stabby person, so that would be really terrifying.
Well...
If I then just watched Doctor Who and was like, ah, it's him!
My first introduction to Tim Curry was Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. So
Was he in there?
Yeah.
He was a mean, the mean
like receptionist
concierge.
Concierge,
yeah.
I saw a really great little section. Somebody put it on Twitter, a little excerpt from his autobiography, and he was talking about the facts that because obviously that's the one that Donald Trump is in, and at the time Donald Trump was visiting with was on set with his
his mistress wasn't it? Or something. Yeah.
And apparently he sort of went up to Tim Curry and was saying like, oh, where's the director, like I want to get his mistress, she's a really great actor, I want to get her a part. And Tim Curry just put in his book, he was like, I said yes, I'm sure she is, and that wasn't a lie, I had no doubt that she was very good at faking it.
I've heard that.
That's
yes,
hilarious.
Which is stunning.
That's beautiful.
But speaking of Tim Curry, he was the first choice. He'd apparently expressed interest in the part as he was keen to take on a role where he wasn't the villain, but he had to turn it down due to scheduling conflicts with Muppet Treasure Island.
Oh,
Mate, I can't even lie to you. I literally watched it like a couple of weeks ago to bed. I love the Muppets Treasure Island.
It's pretty good. I mean, anything with the Muppets.
I've never seen it.
Oh, please.
Check it
Have you
out.
got Disney Plus?
Yes.
Please, it's on there. It's so good. Oh my goodness, it's so good.
Family movie night, Phil. That's the next one.
The kids will love it. It changed my life because there's a scene where I think it's called Jimmy. Yeah, Jimmy. Yeah, he's singing and sweeping the floor, and I used to pretend to do that and pretend to be him from Muppets Treasure Island. It's transformative, really.
So in this parallel universe, because it clashed with Doctor Who filming, that's why he had to turn it down. In this parallel universe, your objection to Tim Curry wouldn't exist because he would have taken this instead of
Oh my god, yeah.
Treasure Island. So you'd have been fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been actually, yeah.
You'd have been alright. Yeah.
Well, he would have scared me in Criminal Minds. So.
He might not have taken it.
Oh, he might not have taken it.
He might have been Doctor Who.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, that's fair. Fair enough.
So there was actually an actor that was cast as the Doctor before Paul McGann.
Who?
This is an actor called Henry Van Gorkum, who I don't recognise, but I looked him up. He's got a bit of a doctorish look, not too dissimilar to Paul, but the BBC did not consider him an appropriate fit for the character, which meant that he was dropped. So they literally cast him, said, you're the Doctor, and then went,
actually,
no.
that's
which
so
is a shame.
sad. That's really sad.
Other names considered for the role included Liam Cunningham, Michael Crawford, Billy Connolly, Eric Idle, Roger Rees, Michael Palin, and Jonathan Pryce, who would later portray the Master in The Curse of Fatal Death. Actors that actually screen tested for the role included, I'm going to try and race through these, Anthony Head, who is obviously in School Reunion.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, yes.
That'd been good.
Giles from Buffy.
But then he wouldn't have been, because Buffy was after this.
I was going to say he wouldn't have been Giles, yeah.
So it would have been about, it wouldn't have been Giles. I knew it was Giles.
Tim McInnery, who is Mr. Helpin in Planet of the Ood and Blackadder and all sorts of things.
McInerney, is that how you pronounce it? McInerney.
Oh, is it?
Isn't
I
it?
always
I think so.
That one, what Phil said. Robert Lindsay, Nathaniel Parker, Peter Woodward, Tony Slattery, John Sessions, and Mark McGann, the brother of Paul.
Ooh,
Oh, the brothers.
family rivalry.
Yeah. Both Christopher Eccleston and Peter Capaldi were offered the chance to audition, but both declined due to their insistence that they wouldn't actually be cast in the role.
Oh. And now I adore them.
Fox executives initially wanted a well-known American actor for the role in order to draw in ratings. Names that were thrown around included Tom Hanks, Harrison Ford, and Jim Carrey.
No.
I love Jim Carrey, but that wouldn't have worked.
Yeah.
So I did a video recently about who could be the next Doctor, and I put one American on there. And it was a good, like, I was like, if any American, and it was based on one performance that I've seen them in. I don't know how familiar you are with Star Trek, but in the 90s, Star Trek Next Generation, a character called Wesley Crusher. Anyway, the actor that played him has recently reprised the role in animation, and his role has become a kind of time-traveling, slightly quirky, bizarre person. And as I watched him in that animation, voicing that animation, I was like, he could be an American that could do it. But the caveat is that I've not seen him do that in live action. It was purely based on animation, so maybe not, I don't know. But that's the only American I've so far thought, yeah, okay, I'll accept you.
I'll accept you.
I'll allow it. Well, in order to cast Paul as the Doctor, the executive producer Philip Siegel had to agree to cast a named actor as the Master, hence why Eric Roberts got the role. McGann was apparently reluctant to sign on, as he was wary of the prospect of spending several years in the States should a series be commissioned on the back of the film. He committed to the production just 2 weeks before filming began.
Oh, that's really soon.
Really soon. The original candidate for the role of the Master was Christopher Lloyd of Back to the Future fame, but turned it down due to a salary disagreement. Ironically, Roberts turned out to be even more expensive to hire than Lloyd.
That's hilarious.
Actors also considered for the role of the Master include James Woods, Malcolm McDowell, speaking of Clockwork Orange earlier, Patrick Stewart, speaking of Star Trek, Ray Liotta, Robert Englund, Tom Selleck, and David Bowie. Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of want to see a David Bowie Master. Not because I think it should have happened, but I just kind of want to see it.
Phil's not sold.
The BBC originally wanted Tom Baker to appear as the Doctor for the film's opening, but
that would have made sense.
The producers insisted on having McCoy, as they believed the 7th Doctor still deserved a proper send-off. McCoy's part in the film was only approved by higher-ups at the BBC so long as he didn't say or do anything, as he was seen as being synonymous with the show's downfall.
Oh.
That's so unfair.
It's really sad, isn't it?
That's really sad, considering one of my some of my favourite Doctor Who episodes are in there.
Can you imagine the world, though, that had happened and we'd had Tom Baker? The amount of arguments that would have caused in fandom about continuity and whether or not it counts as canon because it doesn't carry on from the end of the TV show.
Yeah.
It's, oh, God, I can't.
That would have can of worms.
Yeah. I mean, especially because there's that bit in Queer as Folk, isn't there, where one of the characters, they're naming all of the Doctor Who's.
I've not seen it, but I've heard about the scene, yeah.
And they go, what about Paul McGann? Paul McGann doesn't count. So there was kind of a thing that maybe this didn't count. This wasn't canon.
Yeah,
it wasn't...
the moment in Human Nature when we finally saw Paul McGann's face in the sketchbook, of John Smith's sketchbook, that was like, good. They are finally acknowledging that he is canon.
Yeah. So the original concept for the story actually focused on the Doctor learning that he was half human and that the Master was his long-lost half-brother.
Yeah, that's not something I can get behind.
Matthew Jacobs' original script saw the Seventh Doctor arriving on Halloween, having been fatally wounded by the Master. He was saved by a street urchin named Jack, who took him to the hospital to meet Kelly Grace. The Master would revive Jack's dead father to manipulate him so he could create an undead army.
That's kind of cool.
I mean,
I
Very
kinda
different.
love that. It's very different.
Very
I
different.
kind of love that.
Directors considered for the project include Joe Dante, who directed Gremlins, Peter Weir,
I love Gremlins.
who did Dead Poets Society and The Truman Show,
Mm-hmm.
and Ridley Scott, who, of course, did Alien and Gladiator and Blade Runner and loads of massive, massive things. Alan Menken, who did a lot of stuff with Disney, part of the Disney Renaissance in the 90s. Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Hercules, loads of that stuff, was considered to write a new theme tune when the producers couldn't secure the rights to the original theme.
Oh, wow. Could you imagine if that was different?
Yeah, if you didn't have that.
Yeah.
So, talking of the opening, actor Gordon Tipple originally performed the opening narration, but this was cut and redubbed with Paul McGann doing it instead. Tipple's involvement with the film was reduced to a fleeting appearance as the Master in the opening scene, where he has no dialogue and his face is totally obscured by shadows. This has led fans to debate whether Tipple's Master was a separate incarnation or whether it's meant to be the Ainley Master.
Interesting.
There's another one for...
Because the Master, when he does get into Bruce's body, also has like slightly cat-like shaped eyes, which I don't know what shape snake's eyes are, to be honest. So it could just be snake. They might have been just going for snake eyes.
No,
but
yeah, snake eyes are round. Cat
yeah,
eyes.
so but he has cat eyes, doesn't he? So like that kind of slit look of cat eyes. So I wonder if that was a reference to Survival.
That I do remember.
Oh, yeah, that's a point. I'd not even thought
Yeah,
about
of
the
course,
Survival
Survival.
connection. Yeah.
Where he get turned into a cat person.
I love it. I love Survival so much.
The North American DVD and Blu-ray releases of this story used the 4% sped up version, messing with the timing and making everyone's voices slightly higher pitched.
Do we blame them for the Daleks then?
The original BBC transmission was edited to remove as much of Chang's friends getting shot as possible, following the Dunblane school massacre a few months earlier. The Seventh Doctor's dying scream was also deemed to be too much and was removed. These edits remained on the original VHS release. The first time that UK viewers could see the uncut version was on November 1999, when the movie was repeated as part of Doctor Who Night on BBC Two.
That's made me think about something. Chang Li never really seems that cut up about the fact that his friends are dead.
Yeah.
No.
He just never sort of like
He's after the
acknowledges
gold
it
dust.
again.
I was going to say,
yeah,
he's got
true.
other things on his mind.
Nicking TARDIS keys, trying to get some gold dust. He's a busy guy. But yeah, the scream that sort of Sylve's like death rattle when he's on the operating table, that's really
We haven't spoken about the operating table.
yeah, because for me, him getting shot, it's like it's pretty unceremonious, but like that's not the bit that makes me go, oh, it's him on the operating table pleading with Grace, like, no, please, you're gonna kill me if you do this.
Yeah.
Like, and then it's really unpleasant. And then the bit in where Paul's in the back of Grace's car and he pulls out the
Oh my
is it
god.
the camera?
Yeah. The
Like-
keyhole camera, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's grisly.
I feel it in my skin when he does that. I'm like, that's happening to me. It
Yeah,
makes me want to rip my teeth out. It's awful.
not fun. Speaking of grisly things, the Master's human body was originally supposed to slowly degrade throughout the film, but Eric Roberts found the makeup prosthetics to be too uncomfortable. One scene of this plotline remains where he peels off a fingernail in front of the nurse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Roberts...
I would have. I wish that he could cope with the makeup, because if we had that, oh my god, scenes.
Roberts also hated the contact lenses he had to wear, which is why he's seen wearing sunglasses for so much of the film. Speaking of Eric Roberts, Bruce's wife, who he strangles to death when possessed by the Master, is his actual Eric Roberts' actual wife. Yeah.
Yeah, I did know that one.
There you go.
1 point to Phil.
1 point to Phil.
I've known a couple of these, but that one. That one.
Yeah, of course.
Apparently they work together quite a lot.
Yeah.
That's nice though, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're going to strangle someone to death, you probably want it to be someone that you
Yeah, so there's an in the Doctor Who magazine special. There's an interview with both of them. So they interview him and his wife, and I think she references the fact that they often get cast and end up killing each other. And it's happened multiple times. Either one of them is killing the other one, and it kind of swaps around occasionally.
Well, at least she gets to kill him sometimes as well.
Yeah.
You know. It's an equal partnership.
It's nice and balanced.
Marriage is about compromise, so I've heard.
Yeah.
In the scene where the Doctor locks the casket with his sonic screwdriver, Sylvester McCoy actually holds it the wrong way round. And the prop was blurred in post-production in order to conceal the error.
That's incredible.
Because he didn't use it on in the show, did he? He didn't have a sonic screwdriver.
Yeah, no, this is the first time since the Visitation it's popped up. Unless there's been any in like I don't know, background cameos or flashbacks or something. But like the Doctor's not had one since Davison. During the shoot, Paul McGann was joined in Vancouver by his agent, Janet Fielding.
At one point, didn't she? I can't remember if I'm remembering this correctly, but I might have read that she initially advised him not to take the role.
I think I've heard that.
Incredible.
You don't want to be on this show, trust me.
Yeah, they do it.
It's all running up and down corridors. So the costume designers were unable to get any of the costume that Sylv had worn as the Doctor. The only original piece of costume is the hat, which he himself owned.
Oh, I love that.
Which is why it's got such a different. I say such a different costume. It's obviously not his actual costume, but it's a variation.
I like his costume.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Yeah, it's kind of more closer to his final season's costume, isn't it? Yeah,
the sort of darker jacket.
Yeah.
So, due to rights issues between the BBC and Universal, Grace and Chang Lee have a scattered presence in the expanded universe, which I'm sure Phil will know about. Grace reappeared once in a Doctor Who magazine comic strip, which earned the publishers a slapped wrist as they had not gained permission from Universal.
Uh-oh.
She also travelled briefly with the 8th Doctor in the 50th anniversary comic Prisoners of Time and was referred to in a Sarah Jane Adventures novelisation. An EDA novel that was intended to feature her had to be rewritten with a different character due to last-minute legal difficulties. A photo of Grace appears in The Day of the Doctor alongside other companions in the Black Archive, although it's barely visible. Both Daphne Ashbrook and Yi-Ji So have made several appearances in Big Finish audios, but always as original characters.
Yeah, always different.
And she's about to make a new appearance.
Yes.
In the closest they've got to using Grace, but also technically not.
Yeah.
To get around the rights things.
It's a great little loophole that they found there.
Yeah, because there's this character that is taking on the appearance of old 8th Doctor companions.
Yeah.
So that's how they're going to get around it, because they're never going to refer to her as Grace. It's another character, and the Doctor's going to recognise her.
It's iconic.
As looking a bit like Grace, but he probably won't say her name.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be like, "Did I meet you once in San Francisco?"
Yeah.
Did we have a little smooch against a tree once? In a 2004 Doctor Who magazine interview, Paul McGann and Daphne Ashbrook had nothing but nice things to say about almost everything on the production, except one thing. And that one thing was Eric Roberts, who was apparently very standoffish, rude, making personal remarks about McGann being effeminate and sometimes amazingly bad.
Oh, really?
Ooh.
Yeah,
Wow.
That's
I
interesting.
I found that full interview online. I very much recommend
When's
giving
it
it a
from?
Google and looking at it. From 2004, from Doctor Who
Oh,
magazine.
so a long time ago. Because
Long time
in the latest interview with Eric Roberts that Doctor Who magazine had done, he praises Paul McGann in that interview.
I mean, in the 20-odd years that have passed,
Yeah.
I'm sure they have buried the hatchet.
Made up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently he wasn't very nice man to either Paul or Daphne on set.
Interesting.
Interesting.
And one just to finish off, the UK TV broadcast ended with a dedication to Mr. John Pertwee, who had passed away only 1 week earlier.
That's sweet. That's nice.
Rest in peace, Mr. Pertwee. And that brings us to the end of San Francisco 1999. That's quite difficult to say
loved it.
quickly. Thank you so much.
Woo.
And, I mean, have we got any closing thoughts from you guys on the story?
Well, I've just enjoyed talking about it with you two, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been nice. I think this is just... I think what I like about this is not just the movie itself, which I do really like, but also just what it gave us afterwards with years and years of especially Big Finish, because as you said earlier, Paul's voice, it's liquid gold, it's amazing. And so hearing him for the last 25 years of Big Finish or whatever 25 years now, it is, isn't it? He's been doing it. He started in 2001, so it's been 25 years he's been doing Big Finish, and having all of that and the novels and the comics and stuff has been great. So what it gave us, I think, is even more than the movie itself. But the movie's also good.
Absolutely. I think
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, it's I feel like consensus has kind of changed. I think for a while this was like as I say, there was a point where some people were like, oh, does it count? Is it really, it's that really terrible film that didn't get picked up for a series because it was so bad or whatever. I feel like the tides have kind of changed on this, and people are sort of going, actually, maybe we were a bit mean to it. Maybe, and I think it's definitely got its flaws, and there's a lot of things in there that are odd. And
to say the least.
Yeah, and not all of those things are negative odd. I think there's a lot in here that's odd, and I really love it. Yeah, I think there's a lot to love about this. Not least for, as you say, Phil, it gave us the Eighth Doctor. It gave us Paul McGann as the Doctor, and then everything that followed, and it kind of laid the groundwork for the 2005 revival, and everything that we've had since then. Kat, you and I wouldn't be fans if that revival hadn't happened, which wouldn't have happened if this hadn't happened. And
yeah, absolutely.
It's I think it's an important little piece of the tale, the tapestry of Doctor Who.
I love that.
Yeah. And when this goes out, we'll have that lovely, gorgeous 4K version.
Oh yeah.
To watch in all its glory.
Have you pre-ordered it? And if you have you gone for the Steelbook or the Standard?
I've gone for the Steelbook because my god, it's so pretty.
It's so good. It does
it's
look
gorgeous,
amazing.
isn't it?
The only thing that is going to be prettier than that Steelbook cover is putting that 4K disc in and seeing lovely Paul McGann's face in 4K resolution.
I neither have a 4K TV nor a 4K player, but I've still ordered the 4K.
Oh, absolutely.
I gather the Steelbook comes with a standard Blu-ray as well,
Blu-ray,
so I can at least watch that version, which will have some of the better quality, but not as much as the 4K. One day I'll have a 4K TV and I'll be able to watch it, but for now,
yeah, I've got.
It's to look pretty on the shelf, basically. That's why I
Exactly.
bought it.
Exactly. Yeah. And one day, when that 4K TV and 4K player comes into your possession, you'll be able to crack it out.
That's number one. That's the first thing.
Find it along the shelf right at the start of the 8th Doctor chronology.
Yes.
Yeah.
First thing. I'm really looking forward to actually seeing when I can see it on 4K, the detail in the TARDIS that you couldn't see before, because that is one of my favourite TARDISes. And
Me
I
too.
really want to see the detail in the background.
It's gorgeous.
We
isn't
didn't. It is gorgeous.
It's
one of my favourite TARDISes.
Second favourite.
Yeah. For
Beaten
years,
only
it was my first.
Yeah. What's your first?
Capaldi's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Especially when you've got the candles and like the warm, like orange, red lighting.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is gorgeous.
I liked it. It's the first time that the TARDIS really felt like, right from the moment you were in the control room, that it was an infinite space, because it just felt so big.
Yeah.
Which
was the first time we'd really had that, and I like that.
I think it's also the first time it feels like, oh, this is where he lives.
He lives, it's his home,
Because I know you get like, oh, TARDIS bedrooms and stuff, but it is very much like, oh, this is a studio set. Whereas like, the record player and him sitting there with his cup of tea and his jelly babies reading H.G. Wells, like it really feels like, oh, I believe this is how he spends his life. Like, but yeah. And that's probably how I'm going to spend the rest of my evening, actually. Cup of tea, cozy it up.
Jelly babies.
But yeah, I mean, thank you very much, Phil, for joining us. It's been a pleasure chatting to you again.
Back.
No, you're welcome anytime, mate.
Anytime.
And, I mean, we've got BFI this Sunday.
Yes,
so,
which none of us have tickets to the actual screening.
We don't.
But we're going to go along for the drinks afterwards anyway.
We're turning up anyway. The actual plan is to sneak in by using Phil's technique. From that launch. So if I was going to say, if anybody listening is there, then come say hello. But this will be going out afterwards. So if you were there and you didn't come and say hello, rude. But yeah, thank you very much for joining us. Have you got anything you'd like to plug specifically?
Oh, just my YouTube channel, which is Culture Philter, with Philter spelled Philter, because my name's Phil. So a little wordplay there. I do Doctor Who videos. I do some videos on some other geeky pop culture as well, but most of the videos tend to be Doctor Who. Well, a good 75% tend to be Doctor Who. So if you like Doctor Who, you might like some stuff over there. Find it on YouTube.
Beautiful. And you're going to be covering all the Circuit Breaker stuff when that's coming out,
Yes. So I'm going to do another one of my canon catch-up series where I did it for Time Lord Victorious, for Doomsday, and I'm currently doing it just for the 15th Doctor, just in generally, but where I try and work out where everything goes in the timeline, because that's, as you might have guessed from the shelf idea, I like knowing where things come in timelines and working out how things fit together. So I'll be doing all of that and covering them that way.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's a great series as well. And I think, like, especially for things like that where people might not be able to pick up every single story or release or whatever, then it's it's a really nice way
so if you
gaps.
Just listen to the Big Finish audios from it or something and you want to know what's happening in the rest of the story, you can hopefully dive into my series and just pick up the key points of what's happened.
Amazing. Well, yeah, definitely go and check that out once it's up. Is it?
I can't wait to watch
June, July.
Yeah,
that's
mid-June. I think the first one's out. Yeah,
beautiful. But yeah, links to Phil's channel and socials and things will be in the description. But speaking of the old socials, Kat, where can they find you?
They can find me over on Twitter and Instagram at simplykatie_XO. Where can they find you, Tip?
Thank you very much for asking. They can find me also on the Twitter at Sun and Biscuit and on the Sun and Biscuit YouTube channel, which you may very well be listening to this here podcast on right now. Thank you very much for listening. We will be back next week for another review, we're going to be looking at The Impossible Planet and the Satan Pit.
Oh yeah, banger.
Nice.
One of my favourite
I've
stories.
spoiled it.
No, I mean, everybody
It's
knows.
obvious.
We're not going to be going in. Oh, it's rubbish, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, if you have enjoyed this, give us a like, share, follow on your podcast platform, subscribe on YouTube, leave us a review if you'd be so kind. And yeah, links to everything else. We've got a Patreon and stuff if you want to listen to that commentary track. That will be up there, and you can listen to us and watch along the film with me and Kat.
It was a great time.
But yeah, thank you very much for joining us. We'll catch you next time. And yeah, have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.